God bless you all. Thank you, my heart friends, my spiritual family. I just can't say I love you enough in our lives together in this journey of bringing more light to planet Earth, our beloved planet that we're here to serve and to grow, to walk and to know. And this earth is so beautiful. The ground, the sky, the mountains, the forests. When we stop and pause to just take it in, whether it's raining or sunny or snowing or windy or calm, everything has this spiritual beauty infused in it. And behind that is the face of the Divine Mother. In that is all we need to know. In that we can drop in to the other side where we are all always outside of time and space. Our eternal presence is looking into the face of the Divine Mother and seeing all there is. And through the beauty of nature, we see her face, her smile, her eyes. We can sense her love and her nurturing of our souls into a new higher growth. Everything we see, hear, feel, taste is a portal into deeper knowing of the Divine Mother, deeper seeing, deeper feeling. So while we walk this earth, while we have this opportunity of having this body which is given to us from her, we too can leave our smile, what we have garnered from our journey, our spiritual walk, our growth, what to say and what not to say. All these little nuances of spiritual growth that we can leave for our spiritual family that is coming after us to walk on this planet in a physical body. So this Tuesday meditation really is going back to our origin, going back to the place outside of time and space, going up through our crystal cord and peering out our spirit eye of light, of fire, of the source. For those of you who are at home who want to join us on this journey that we're going to take a moment with us. Light a candle. Create in your place your light, your fire, your own God presence, and follow that light that you create all the way up and through and out time and space into pure spirit. into pure awareness. She has left this door open for us. And it has always been there, right in front of our faces. Always been there, the door. So I'm going to light the candle. We're going to invite our ascended master friends. We're going to invite all of God's angels to come and be with you and be here with us. Please rise with me wherever you are and let's prepare. Breathe through us, O Divine Mother. See through us, feel through us, know through us. Come, O Divine Mothers of Heaven. Come, O Father, Mother God. Let us hear your voice. Come into this place, O Holy Spirit. Come into this place, O Archangel Michael. Come into this place. Reach to all through the fire of your love. Touch each one, I pray, with a new loving understanding of yourself, of their purpose, of our journey. We're going to turn off the lights here so that we can see more clearly. And go into the silence. We are coming back. And that we have tasted the holy. We have drank the fire. And now with eyes closed, inwardly repeat, I am willing to see with the eye of the celestial. I am willing to see with the eye of the universal. I am willing into reality the infinity of oneness. And as we tap into our divine will and our spiritual power that comes from choosing and comes from willing, a new rush of fire descends upon us, a new empowerment of God Almighty, of the Divine Mother, of the light eternal. I am willing to merge into the oneness. I am the will that chooses to see. I am the will that chooses to love. I am the will that chooses to know. I am the will that chooses to bless. I am the will that chooses to expand, grow. I am the will that chooses to see with the celestial. I am the will that chooses to see with the universal. I am willing the divine reality into this dimension, into earth, into sky. I am willing this light to come. I will, I choose, I am. And we anchor this light on our beloved Gaia, in every particle, in every atom, every molecule, with a new, fresh will infused from the will of God, infused from the will of the Divine Mother to bless, heal, enlighten, and unify. May all receive it. From the little crystals to the little flowers to the large oceans and high mountains, to the very air in the atmosphere and space surrounding Gaia, in all dimensions, in all frequencies, in all layers of consciousness. Let this light of pure will, love, and wisdom repolarize, harmonize, and electrify for new growth, new life, birthing into reality divine ideations of God consciousness. And we see it so. So that meditation was actually birthed in me on Sunday. And I'll set this up for you, and we can share with the people online together. I was hiking with Ava on Double Peak Mountain. It was 85 degrees, and it was very hot. And I must have lost maybe 5 pounds, just sweating. And towards the most difficult part of the hike, the mind was saying, turn around. Go back. It's too hot. Go get some ice cream. So, but from deep within me came the voice. It said, I will make it to the top. And as soon as I heard that within myself, a whole new energy came through me. It was so noticeable that I was surprised by it, by the thought that I said, I will make it to the top. I will keep going. And the noticeable boost of energy that I felt, it made me pause because everything just became so clear. Everything just became in focus and everything. And it says, yes, I'm going to make it. I'm not turning back. And I just kept going. And then the hike came this teaching through, as I kept going up and to the very top of Double Peak, through the very most difficult part of it. And I was huffing and puffing and sweating and aching. This teaching was coming to me, was from the I will. And part of it was something that I heard a long time ago from Yogananda. He says, I will, the will is God in man. And that always stuck with me. The will is God in man. So where do we get the will from? Comes from God. The angels don't have it. We have it. And so we were made a little lower than the angels, but crowned with more glory because we can choose God. When we choose the light, when we choose, we are crowned with more glory and co-creators and inheritors of the universes. So the will. So this kind of teaching just came through me as I was hiking up the mountain, just trudging along, huffing and puffing. And I smiled and I laughed and the pain went away. And the idea of the will being such a focus. I was wondering if you could add anything to that concept or anything you'd like to share with me and the other people online.
Well, that sounds, is this on?
Oh, wait a minute, I have to.
It's okay. Well, that sounds really powerful, Dennis. What a transformational experience, and what an awakening you had on multiple levels. That's just fantastic. And certainly the I will is one way to go. You just amplified and gave testament to that yourself. personally, I'm a I am person rather than a I will person. But I'm really, really, really glad that you put the oneness aspect in the meditation we were doing. So I want to share what that means to me. So in 2003, I was teaching a class in Boston called the Over the Bridge and Into the Rainbow, the Oneness Seminar. And it was the fourth in a series. It was the final mastery level of it. And it was on a Sunday, and I was doing sort of the piece de resistance initiation, which was to the to EO, the breath of God. And EO, and actually we were interesting because we were just talking about that before we started today. EO in Hawaiian means God, but only the highest kahuna or highest priests and priestesses could even utter that. So most of the time they called it Iao, and there's a valley named Iao Valley because they couldn't call it EO because then they just have to call it Valley. So anyway, so I was initiating my student to the breath of EO. And I'd been doing initiations for, 20 or 30 years by then. And every time I did it, I would bring down a column of whatever I was initiating the students to at the highest level that I could easily accommodate for the purpose of initiating my students, the highest level that they could easily accommodate. And always for all of this time, it would come down this nice, neat little column. Well, this time when I called down the breath of EO, or the breath of God, it came down and went, and I was suddenly one with everything. I was one with the student who I was standing behind with my hands on his shoulders. I was one with the other 56 or 57 students in the room. I was one with the room. I was one with the Dalai Lama, who happened to be in Boston as well that weekend, which was quite amazing. I was literally one with the planet. I was one with everything, including the divine, or the breath of God. And I was transformed in ways that are beyond words. So I stood there for, 5 or 10 minutes, and my apprentice finally said to me, "Lori," now, it felt like he was talking to me from really, really far away, and a Lori sounded kind of familiar to me, but I was sure that whatever Lori was, it wasn't really important. So I was ignoring him. And he said, "Were you going to do initiations?" Initiation sounded not even as familiar as a Lori, but I didn't care whatever that was because I was one with everything, including the divine. And I knew that this was it. I'd been spending hundreds, if not thousands, of lifetimes waiting for this moment, and here it is. So he decided to come along and move my hands how he thought I moved my hands when I did initiations. And then he pushed me around the room, moving my hands and moving my body around. So I had no conscious awareness of my body whatsoever. I had no thoughts, probably as a double Gemini, Sun and Moon and Gemini and Sad Rising for the astrologers out there. Probably the no thoughts part got my attention more than anything else. I had no sense of time, so I had no idea how long we were doing this. I had, so no body, no thoughts, no time, oneness with everything, including the divine, or maybe especially the divine, or God or goddess, and absolutely no motivation to do anything but be in that state. Therein lies a problem. Anyway, so he pushed me around to initiate all 58 of these people. And then we passed by my chair and I sat down. And he came over and he said, "Lori, were you going to do their hands?" Now, what he meant was I going to initiate their hands? But as much as I could have a thought, I thought, why does he want me to give them manicures? It's like, obviously, I'm in another dimension. And then he pushed me around the room, moving my hands on their hands like he thought I did. We came back and sat by my chair, or I sat down in my chair. And he said, were you going to talk them out of it? And what he meant was I was going to talk them out of the meditation I had taken them into before this happened. What I wondered was, what are they doing wrong that I have to talk them out of? So obviously we weren't connecting at all. He saw the writing on the wall. He talked them out of the meditation, told them to write down what it was that they'd gotten. And I'm just there in bliss, with oneness with everything. So my assistant, my apprentice, hands me a glass. I always have a glass of water everywhere I am. And my hand grabbed it, and he said, why don't you take a sip? Sounded like a good idea to me. And I stuck it in my nose because I had absolutely no body awareness whatsoever of where I was in space. This continued on. My students were getting worried about me, and it continued. So it continued for about 10 days. Somehow, during those 10 days, the next morning, I flew back home to Boulder, which is where I was living at the time. I have no idea, no memory how I got there. And it was a life-changing experience, because once you've had that, you never see yourself as separate from anybody ever again. That you know that not just intellectually, but I know with every fiber of my being that I am one with everything, including the divine. As a matter of fact, I am the divine, and so is everyone else. And so, the spiritual practice then becomes honoring the divine in everyone and everything. So I'm really blessed that you brought up the oneness and all of that. And to me, it doesn't matter how you get there, whether you're using your technique of willing it or whether you're allowing it. I live more in the allow state of the divine flow now. And whatever works for people is exactly what it is that they're meant to pursue. And try out all forms and see what one resonates the most with you.
I think what they both have in common is that it's a choosing, right? Allowing is a choosing.
Right, it's being open. Right. You're putting more, I would say, intention in moving forward, and I'm putting more receiving. But it's essentially, the end result is the same, so it doesn't matter. It's whatever works for you.
Yeah, that was, it was an interesting little hike for me. I'll always remember that hike. And now that I think about it, I was in all my very difficult hikes, Mount Whitney, Half Dome, Mount Baldy, Cuyamaca, some of these other difficult hikes where it was just on the very edge of physical capabilities. I willed myself through the harder parts. And eventually, the mind stopped to complain. Mm. And once that voice disappeared, poetry, music, enjoying the moment would just have much more clarity.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And I think runners get that too. The runner's high, they reach a place where the mind finally gives up and kind of takes a back seat to the higher mind, the soul and the oversoul. And that's why they do it. That's why they continue to go, and push themselves into that place, into that state. It's a meditation. It's a holy moment. Now you mentioned something about the I am. And when you say that, do you see allowing, or do you see, like a choosing?
Well, that's a very good question. So recently I've discovered that there were, in the 80s, somebody wish I remembered his name, proved that your brain knows what is chosen 13 seconds before your body thinks it's choosing it. And the study has been replicated over and over again. Some say 9 seconds, some say 7. The shortest amount of time is 7, which is actually, either way, is a pretty long time, considering that we think we're choosing. Our body personality thinks we're choosing. Right? But then what is it that's made the mind up already? I mean, your mind already acts like it's chosen 7 to 13 seconds before we think we're consciously making a choice. Well, I would say it's the divine. I would say it's God or goddess. So then my intention comes from having the intention to be that I'm allowing that to just flow through me, that I'm not creating any barriers or obstacles, or that I'm being that divine essence, if you will. I'm being that in that divine flow. And that's how I'm choosing to run my life. So then to me, my allowing is allowing that to come through rather than my body personality thinking it has to make a decision. And that wasn't always, I didn't always believe that, but now it's very clear to me, for me, that's true.
Yeah. I kind of got that too.
So,
I kind of felt that too when I was in the flow of it.
So would the will be what you're tapping into the same thing? So you're willing yourself to tap into the divine flow.
Yes. Well, we have some new people that are old souls, but just new to, the spiritual path, that are been listening and watching. And for a new person who's just discovering this, is there any techniques that you can advise them on?
Meditation. I believe that I'm privileged to have all these divine experiences because I've meditated at least twice a day, and sometimes 4 times a day, for 50 years. And when you do that, what you're doing is quieting the mind, and you get better and better and better at it. So then the divine energies, the divine information, the divine downloads can come through. And there's no right or wrong way to meditate. Some people are focused on their breathing. Other people find it easier to go to a guided meditation because the monkey chatter is too loud and they prefer to listen to it. And there's hundreds, if not thousands, of meditations, guided meditations online. People just need to figure out what one resonates the most with them. And you can also try just closing your eyes and imagining yourself in a peaceful state, your most favorite calming place, whether it's the beach, whether it's the mountains, whether it's by a lake or whatever, and just really seeing, hearing, feeling, knowing that you're there. And also realize that everybody has a way in which they receive their extrasensory information. Some people see it, some people hear it, some people feel it, and some people know it. How do you know which one is the strongest suit for you? Well, if you've ever seen something out of the corner of your eye and you turn and it's gone, well, at least one of the ways you're getting it is visual. That's probably a guide or an angel or, a divine spirit who's there helping you. If you've ever heard your name being called and there's no physical body there, one of the ways you get it is auditory. If you ever get in Hawaii what we call chicken skin or truth bumps or goosebumps, when you hear the truth, then at least one of the ways that you get it is through feeling. And if the phone rings and you're not expecting a phone call, but you just know who it is, you just know that it's Sally or Bill or whatever, then obviously knowing is one of those. Now, people usually have one primary way in which they get their extrasensory information, and so you can have other ones that are less prominent. But it's important to trust whatever way it comes in. So I have students that wanted to know, and those of you who don't know, I was a spiritual teacher for over 45 years. So people think they want to see it. If I just could see it, then I would know that it was real. However, the tricky thing about that is we can all close our eyes and imagine all kinds of things that may or may not be real. Right? So that's one of the hardest ones to validate. It's much harder to hear a voice calling your name when there's nobody there. It's harder to make yourself have goosebumps. You know, it's harder to make yourself know who's on the phone, who's calling on the phone. So all of those other ways are more validating to people, even though people think they want to see it. So however it comes for you, begin to pay attention to that. And I believe that we are all psychic, that it's literally our sixth sense. And in prehistoric times, people had to trust that to survive. They didn't know which direction to head for water. They didn't know which berries were edible and which were poisonous. They didn't know who the friends were and who the enemies were. And now we go to the sink. We sort of trust that whatever's coming out of the tap is okay to drink. And now we're drinking bottled water because we don't really trust that. And we trust that whatever's sold at the grocery store as edible is okay to ingest. And now we have GMOs. So we can't always trust that either. And we believe that the police are going to protect us from the bad guys, and many times they are the bad guys. So the way you can open up your psychic ability, which helps you open up your spiritual connection, is by trusting it. It's like a muscle that gets stronger with its use and atrophies if you don't use it. So if you're driving down the street and you're going to buy a new pair of shoes and you're headed, one direction, and then suddenly you get this impulse to turn to the left instead of further down the road to the right, which is where the store is you think you're going to. You have extra time, just go to the left. It's probably on sale. They're probably on sale at the store to the left. So the more you use it, the stronger it becomes. I realize it's not we have 5 senses. If you're not using, in addition to the 6, if you're not using all 6 senses, you're not playing with the full deck. Okay, nobody would put a blindfold over their eyes and say, okay, I'm choosing not to see because somebody made it bad and wrong. Okay, well, that's what you're doing if you're not using your psychic abilities along with your other 5 senses. So you use all of them to make decisions. And you can do easy things if you have a choice you have to make. Go into a calm, centered state or meditation, close your eyes, ask, is it for my highest good on all levels? I always ask on all levels because it might be really good on a body level, but it's not on good, it's not a good choice on a emotional level or on a spirit level. So is it good, for my highest good on all levels? And you can do red light, green light if you're a visual person. Have a stoplight that's red and a stoplight that's green. Obviously, green is yes, red is no. If you're auditory, you can hear a yes or no. If you're feeling, you could feel a sensation in your body for yes or no. If you're knowing, you can just know. So begin to use it. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes.
So I love the stoplight one, and to listen and to use it. Trust yourself, just to summarize. And then you'll have your proof. You'll have your stories to tell, examples to share. So for those of you who are just starting, and even I picked up some insights there for myself. The journey is long and it's a lot of fun. Just keep going. Trust that God has your best interests, that you are going the right way, Also, trust in the angels. They are God's messengers. And just acknowledging that there are these light beings that surround you, that care for you on all levels, and that actually work for you if you choose to give them assignments and work with them.
Well, I would say there's a very high unemployment rate with angels and guides these days because nobody's using them. They're around, they're there to help facilitate your growth and development into a higher level of consciousness. But if you're not working with them, how is that helping you evolve? It doesn't help them. And I think lots of our spirit guides are practicing on us because they're going to go into their next incarnation and will be more aware, more awake, because they have assisted us in growing to our highest level of consciousness as well. So it's for their highest good as well as for yours to communicate with them and ask them for guidance.
So that's the other key, is work with the angels and talk with them like you would talk to your neighbor or a friend.
I would also say that everything that happens in our life is there because it's an opportunity for growth. And instead of saying, why me, ask, what is this here to teach me? Because, if you're just starting, you can read a book like Illusions, The Adventures of Reluctant Messiah by Richard Bach. What an incredible, it's probably free online as a download. What an incredible book. It has all kinds of wonderful nuances in it. So one of his quotes is, there's no such thing as a problem without a gift for you in its hands. You seek problems because you need their gifts. So again, there's something for you to learn from that. It's not that you're being a victim. It's not that you're being persecuted in some way, that this situation has happened for your own development and to give you an opportunity to look at things from a different perspective.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite books. I have the audiobook of that, and I also have Jonathan Livingston Seagull. And I think he is from Long Beach area originally.
I think so too, yeah.
So, well, thank you. God bless you. Thank you for your sharing and being here with me to help bring this meditation into this time, this reality. We're going to end the broadcast now. And I just want to say to everyone online, God bless you. Thank you so much for moving through the mass consciousness and choosing and flowing with the divine for your highest good, for the highest good of all, on all levels.
Yes.
Including the Divine Mother, who celebrates your coming into the light, into your own. She celebrates that, and what a gift we can give her by just every day choosing and flowing with her. God bless you, everyone, and we'll be broadcasting again tomorrow for our Divine Mother worship service at 7:30. You can tune in on the broadcast as you did tonight. And will you do the closing prayer for us?
Certainly. We're going to stand or we're going to sit.
However you would like.
Oh, so everybody close your eyes for just a moment and take a breath wherever you are. Tune into your heart. I want you to feel the divine love that is there for you always. You are always connected to the divine. As a matter of fact, you are the divine. Jesus said we all have a spark of the divine within us. Krishna said that we are all him. He was the divine as well. So all of the Buddha said that we all have Buddha nature. So take just a moment and feel that light within you. Feel that love within you. It is always there. This is the truth of who you really are. So I want you to honor yourself for the divine being, the divine presence that is truly you. That you always have been the divine essence. It is like the sun is this concentration of light, but we are all the sun rays, and bringing that ray through us onto the planet Earth and awakening to who and what we really are as that divine light is why we're here. So take a moment and tune into that light that's there. And I want you to feel it grow. It's growing bigger and bigger and bigger. And on the count of 3, it will have become a giant sphere around you. 1, on the count of 3, you are going to become this giant divine presence in the form of a sphere. 2, you already are. 3, be that divine ball of God or goddess. This is who you truly are without your body on. When you watch this playback, you're going to see orbs in the room that were flying all around. Those are the angels. Those are the divine masters. Those are the divine mother embodiments, the divine father embodiments that Dennis called in. And this is your form of that. So every day, if you begin your day by honoring yourself as that divine bubble of light, that divine presence, and know that you're here to shine that light, that divinity onto the planet and to awaken more and more to who you are. So let's thank all of the divine mothers in all of the forms that have blessed us being here today and will continue to be with you. Let's also thank all the divine fathers in all of their forms that were here tonight and are with you all of the time, especially when you call them in, both the divine mothers and divine fathers. Let's thank all of the ascended masters, again, that were here tonight and are with you constantly. Thank all of the archangels and the angels and all the other spirit helpers that you have around you all of the time and that were with us tonight. And they're there to help remind you to awaken to the truth of who you are, that true divine essence. And we're so blessed to be here in this sacred temple, and wherever you are, you're part of this temple as well. We're thankful to Dennis for facilitating this great meditation and calling in all these divine energies to support us. So I love you. We are one, and remember who you are. Good night.